let us recall how we, knowing, let's say, K-Mind, got to know his apartment's area and the number of people living in it. Once again, we have a table here, which is this block is owner, this block is area, this block is people, up here on the left side. And we want to use index and match now. So what we do is we write the first match. We want to know on which row in the owner's block K-Mind is. So we say match B6 semicolon, and the block is called owner. Now we have to put down a 0. And in this lesson we're actually finally going to discover the alternative to 0. And we say enter. And it tells us that K-Mind is on the 3rd row in the owner's block. Now, knowing that, we're going to write an index function around it and take from the area block the 3rd one out. So we write equals index, parenthesis begin, and the block is called area, and match tells us the 3rd row. So once again, this match is done at first, searching for Mind. It's gonna be found in the 3rd row, so this match is going to be replaced with number 3. And the row number is 3. Now we use index, and this formula is already rather simple. It takes from the area block the 3rd area out. And the result is 65,3. Using together at first match and then index, we have basically performed VLOOKUP, beginning with K-Mind and ending up with the knowledge that K-Mind's apartment has the area of 65,3. Let us leave the number of people for your own practice right now, and let's move on to the next problem, which considers those same apartments, but now we're painting the floors of these apartments. We still are dealing with this apartments table, which we just looked at, but the next sheet actually contains the table on paints as well. So for each paint we have a brand name, and then those paints VL13, VL30 and so forth. In the second column for them we have the amount, how much they're used. So for all the paints have different viscosities, and due to that it takes a different number of liters of that paint to paint over the floor of 1 square meters area. So for instance, VL13 will be used in the amount of 0.52 liters per square meter. VL30 will be used in the amount of 0.47 liters per square meter. And those paints also have different prices. These are in the 3rd column. There's also the 3rd column, the 4th column with the company names, but we won't be needing these. It's often so that some tables contain irrelevant information for us as well. And now, with index and match, just the same way we've used VLOOKUP so far, we're going to be pulling these 3 tables, the owners and apartments table, the paints table, and now the specific table of painting the floors. The 3 tables will pull them together. So we are now going to at first look at how much of paint VL09 we will be using for painting 1 square meter. We write equals, and we want to go and match for that VL09. So we'll write equals match, parenthesis begin C12, and we match it block called, now we have to check this, this is This block is called P brand, paint brand. So here it is, we match it. Sorry, this got messed up. Again, P underscore brand. We match it from there with a 0, as always. Now, let's press enter. And it turns out that VLO9 is actually in the 9th row. This is rather extraordinary for this table. VLO9 happens to be on the 9th row inside its table, but it's not a rule, because VL13 is in the 1st row and the VL30 is in the 2nd row. Still, we now know which row to access, so we write in around this match, we write an index. We write equals index parenthesis begin, and the block from which we're taking the amount of paint used is called P usage, and we go, as match told us, to the 9th row. So match gives us 9, and now with index we go in P usage block to the 9th row and take away the amount of liters used for painting 1 square meter, and here it is 0,55. So again, index and match is more complex than VLOOKUP, but we will just see in a second that it's better. The other thing to do now is we want to actually know the entire amount of paint used. So the first apartment has the area of 65,3 square meters, and we want to know the entire amount of paint used. So what we need to do next is we will go and take this first area. That's right. And actually, we're going to take the same formula and write this area formula to the end. So we multiply the 0,55 liters used for painting 1 square meter with the number of square meters, and therefore we're going to be able to conserve some space, omit the intermediary cells, and write all the amount of paint used for painting that first apartment just in one cell. But the formula is going to be more complex. So 0,55 is going to be multiplied with, and now with index we go to the block called area, and we take the first area from there. Remember that from the last class, that since the first apartment is in the 1st row, second apartment is in the 2nd row, we don't actually need to do an index and match where we search for the first apartment and take its area, but it suffices for us to just go to the area block and take the first one if it's the first apartment. We don't need index and match, just index suffices. Okay, so here it is, and the result is 65 square meters, 0,55 liters, 35,92 liters used all together in this apartment number 1. Okay, the other thing, the cost. The cost will depend on the cost of paint VLO9. So we do a kind of index and match, the same as VLOOKUP. We go to table paints, search for VLO9, and look up its cost or price. So here is how we write it. Equals, we are matching VLO9, which is in cell C12, from block P brand, P underscore brand. We're matching it from here. More on semicolon 0 just in a second. Parentheses get closed, and now let's enter. VL09 is on the 9th row. But once again, this is not a general rule in here. 13th paint is on the 1st row, 30th in the 2nd row. And now we take this 9th row, we use index, parenthesis, the box name is called P price. Price. So match told us VL09 is on the 9th row. Match was replaced with 9, and now with index we go to P price, we go to its 9th row, and take the result, which is $62.85 or krones or euros, and this is the price for that paint. Okay, but now actually in this table we don't want to end up with the cost for just 1 liter, but since we know that the amount of paint used is 35.92 liters, straight in this cell again we're multiplying the cost of 1 liter with the amount of liters, D12, and here it is, 2,257 is the cost for the entire apartment, and we have once again omitted the extra cells. We have made the calculation right in here, so this table really contains the amount in liters and the cost of painting the entire apartment. And here it is, 2257. Now we are going to take these two formulas and copy them, and here it is, we have the cost for all the apartments. This VLOOKUP can be, this data validation can be turned on as well. So we select all these paints, we do data validation, and we say list and equals P brand, and here it is. Now we can already switch for different paints, and all the costs will switch as well. Again, we have tied together 3 tables here, and one concerning the apartments, the other the paints, and the third painting the apartments.